The worst thing that you can do when the narcissist discards you is to beg them to stay, is to try to get closure, is to try to get them to explain what you did wrong, because certainly you would have felt you did something wrong, that you were undeserving of them, with your sense of worth and self-esteem being at probably an all-time low. You see, the narcissist expects you to chase them when they discard you. They expect you to want to seek closure. They expect you to want to seek an explanation from them. They expect you to try to convince them to take you back. When the narcissist discards you, at that time, they're not really thinking they want you back. They're not really thinking that you two would have a future again. But they are expecting you to be feeling miserable for a long time, and for you to show many signs that you're miserable, chasing them up, trying to obtain some form of closure. And in that process, the fact that they wouldn't give it to you, that in their minds, they would just see you as being pathetic. They wouldn't give you the closure. They wouldn't give you the explanations. And if they do give you any feedback, they'll probably somehow place the blame on you. They might even pretend to be caring, pretend to be wanting to help you, but they'll end up making you feel worse. But they do want you to chase them. They do want you to try to seek out that explanation, because it makes them feel empowered. It makes them feel validated. It just proves to them that they did the right thing by discarding you, because they're better than you. But what you need to do is you need to behave in such a way as to not follow the script that they expect. If the narcissist discards you, or if you realize you're with a narcissist and things are really bad, devaluation, you walked away. If you broke apart, but oftentimes this is them discarding you, you need to put all your energy, wherewithal, effort to try to hold yourself together. Don't reach out to them. Stay no contact. Don't try to seek any closure from them. Give them nothing. You need to go no contact. You need to refocus on yourself. The first few days will be complete hell, most likely, but just know that it will pass. Every day that you're not reaching out to them, every day that you're not taking active steps to try to convince them to take you back or any of that, you're slowly regaining your power. And while you're regaining your power, you are disempowering them. They will start to wonder why you're not chasing them. They'll start to wonder why you're not trying to get closure. They're starting to wonder why you're not just in touch with them to understand better what happened, and if there's any chance of reconciliation. The fact that you're not chasing all that up, it confuses them. It will make them wonder. And this is your time to get back into your power. Focus on yourself. Of course, it's very difficult. If this was a narcissist that you were with, it's going to be very difficult. Any breakup's difficult. Even in healthy relationships with healthy people, breakups can be very difficult. But with a narcissist, it's much more difficult because they would have weakened you. You have that trauma bond. You have that the fact that you would have had the cumulative effect of all the devaluation. All that stuff kind of it puts you in a really difficult place. But slowly you do recollect yourself. You do get yourself back together. After the discard, give them nothing. Stay in your power. Refocus. Go out and do exercise. Go out. Just enjoy the sun, the rain. Just go out and just keep your mind on anything. Don't reach out to them. Of course, try to avoid alcohol or drugs in the first few weeks or so, if possible, after the breakup, because your brain's doing a lot of calculus. It's just trying to understand what's happened, and it's trying to put things into perspective and to get an understanding of what you just went through. But just go through the process. It will you will have withdrawals. Just kind of go through it, but don't reach out to them, because reaching out to them is just a relapse, and you're perpetuating the worst of the misery. But if you're not doing that, if you're not reaching out to them, even though you might be experiencing withdrawals, you are coming back into your power slowly. But here's the thing. It doesn't usually take very long, where if you're focusing on yourself, you're kind of going through the withdrawals, but you're allowing yourself to recover. You're releasing the addiction, which was them. They will become so curious, they will become so confused, that it is very likely that they will reach out to you in some way or express some desire to reconcile. You just also need to make sure that you're working on that aspect as well, which is knowing that they might reach back out, but if they do, you don't respond. Or if you see them in public, you just don't give them any real emotional response or feedback. Just gray rock them if you see them in public. So when you do that, two things are happening. You're empowering yourself slowly, even though it can be painful, but it's much less painful than if you were to go back to them, go through the same cycle, and get devastated again. When you keep going back to them, that's the worst pain. What that leads to. That leads to a lot more pain. So if you stay in your power, go through the process, you will empower yourself, you will disempower them, and what that will cause is, that will make them feel like they're losing the good things that you have in you that they didn't initially recognize. They start seeing a certain value in you that they start seeing they miscalculated, and they just feel this urgency to come back to you. And that's where you have to make sure you keep that mind in the sand and you don't go back to them. And that's all you really have to do, is just stay away from them, recenter yourself, rebalance yourself. Just go through the process of letting the withdrawals manifest themselves, and then leave your system little by little. It does get better over time. And once you come out the other end, you would have learned so much about yourself. You would have learned so much about people. You would have learned so much about your ex. And you will feel very empowered knowing that you managed to go through that and keep your cool. Keeping them at a distance. It's a painful process, but it's a very, very rewarding process if you go through it in the best way, which is not to entertain them anymore, to recenter yourself, regain that clarity, allow the addiction of them to leave your system, and all of a sudden you just see this new light and you're a new person. And that's the greatest thing. But just make sure to realize that, the breakup, the discard, it's a blessing, but sometimes it takes a while to see it, but it is a blessing. So do make the best of it.